To say that Mr. Metokur, a beacon of the old internet, you can say, from a time when people would say, who's a good troll, who's a good person that can really mess with people and fuck with people. And then you have Josh, a person that made a forum dedicated to basically destroying being anonymous on the internet, because that's what his site is for. It's designed to be doxing. That's all it is. To people who say it's free speech, if doxing is free speech, you might as well just say swatting is just checking up on people. It's a way to silence people. It's a way to make people shut up because they don't want to say something with their identity. That's the reason why people dox people. Not because of, oh, well, I care about free speech and all that, and I want to make sure the children and the people are fine. No, you dox people, not out of caring out, trying to stop bad people. You dox people because you think that's a way to win an argument. They say something dumb, you just report it to their job provider and you try to get them fired. You try to do life ruination. And Metokur used to talk about this kind of stuff years ago, where it's called life ruination. And you would think with his personality, you would expect Mr. Metokur would outright despise Kiwifarms and Josh in general. And you could be saying, well, why doesn't he? It's possible that Josh knows something that we don't know about Metokur, or James Augustine. Some people think that both sides of the quote-unquote Swedish squad, his fan base of Metokur and the Kiwifarms and Josh have issues where if one side fights the other, and I thought of this, mutually autistic destruction, or M.A.D, to where one side fights the other, there will be a major flame war, a major shit show, a troll battle, you could say, with a bunch of furries and anime weebs versus a bunch of literal feminist death cult members and TERFs and entitled women and autistic women and male simps, by the way, also male simps, fighting each other. Both sides would be equally as destructive as possible, and it could cause major ripples among the internet. Now you could be saying, isn't Metokur dead? It's possible, we don't know until we hear confirmation, but this is like a scenario. If Metokur's fans and him attack Kiwifarms or Kiwifarms attack Metokur. Because there have been times where the Kiwifarms have outright tried to go after Metokur, with Metokur being an open anime fan, and Kiwifarms notorious for being controlled by radical feminist groups, particularly TERFs. Basically, second wave feminist people. Well, how put it? The way Kiwifarms feminists work is that they're right wing, because what people don't understand with feminism is that you can be far right and far left and be a feminist as a woman. Feminism can be any political ideology. It's more of a mindset. It's basically the principle is that you think that you are superior and you should defy nature. Similar to transgenderism, which is kind of funny because the reason why you see so many transgenders these days is because of feminism. And TERFs, trans exclusionary radical feminists, despise feminists because they kind of destroy feminist ideology in a way. Because of the way feminists have, taught themselves to say that men and women are the same. Well, men are kind of fighting back, and men subconsciously realize, oh, I can just be a woman, I can live on easy mode, and that's what you see today. So Kiwifarms was basically formed. Now, Kiwifarms originally wasn't that, but Josh is kind of made that way because he knows that's the reason why his site's not been taken down immediately. That's the reason why. Not because of, oh, well, he's just good at debate. No. If they took that down, the mainstream media would be scared of the feminists. You gotta remember, Collective South is a feminist group. I guarantee majority of Kiwifarms users openly support Collective South and what's going on with the Real ID. And you would think Metokur would despise, Kiwifarms and Josh in general and just outright mock him. But there's a certain fear with Jim, and I think it's because of him, because he knows he's been doxxed. We know who he is. And even with that, knowing that he doesn't care about people making fun of him, he knows that Kiwifarms is notorious for going after him. I guarantee the reason why he got swatted the first time and second time was because of Kiwifarms. And I know it's like it's some weird groiper who swatted Metokur, but at the same time, we probably wouldn't know his dogs that much, or went in the dustbin of history. There we go. But Kiwifarms archives doxes and personal information, to where people who would have some respect and not actually try to keep his personal info, what Kiwifarms does, they keep his personal info. I guarantee they would have his social security number if they would have it. And they have debated saying that we should have social security numbers as well. That's where you can get to the point where, yes, that is illegal. But because they try to say it's my free speech, even though I guarantee if you talk to the felon fathers, they'll outright say, fuck you, and, tell all the Kiwifarms users to go back in the kitchen. because, most of them are radical feminist death cult members. But Jim knows he can't do anything to criticize Null or the Kiwifarms, because he knows he will be turned into Ricada. Any flaw that he has will be turned up by 11. And you could be saying, well, Metokur's not bad as Ricada. In the eyes of Kiwifarms, if you are not a male feminist simp, they will dox you. They will go to a Reddit and Discord to say that, well, it's not us that's doing it, and then try to swat you. That's what they're known for. That's what they do. This is why people don't understand why, like, whenever you see a log cow, if a log cow is being touched by Kiwifarms, I guarantee it's going to end very badly. Look at, what's his name? That one guy who screams, bomb you, that kind of guy. Shit. Daniel Larson, there he is. He was targeted by Kiwifarms. I guarantee, and people say, no, it's a Discord. No, I guarantee the original group of people was always Kiwifarms. Every time you see something, it's always with Kiwifarms. And they tried to tell you, don't do fucked up shit on this site. That if you look at the rules of Kiwifarms, don't do it on our site. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, do it on another site, and we're fine with it. That's what's going on. Same thing with other log cows. It always ends badly. Jim knows that if he actually went after Josh and Kiwifarms, which he would just go after Josh, because if you look in Josh's history, you realize how much of a log cow he is. And there's so much documented proof. Him can't even keep an online girl. I was watching a video about, I forgot his name, I should know his name. He actually was like another person who criticized Kiwifarms as well. He was a former It's funny because a lot of these former Kiwifarms users tend to actually go after Kiwifarms because they realize how dumb it is. How fucked up it is. And he points out how, like, Josh was trying to get with some autistic girl who I guarantee they never met. I guarantee it. And it's like a recent one where he had like a VTuber skit going on with her, and it's just typical women on easy mode. He thinks that he can get with a feminist, and he realizes, oh, I can't. But all this weird shit, you would think Jim would just have it's like a fresh pig. It's a fresh cooked pig. It's right there to eat. But he knows if he touches that, it's just like with Russia and America back in the Cold War era. That's why I put the title in the thumbnail. It's mutually assured, not mutually assured, mutually autistic destruction, because it's so true. It would cause the biggest flame war you would ever see on the modern internet. It's funny because, in a way, Kiwifarms has kind of won in their own way, but at the same time, people are realizing, oh, maybe they shouldn't won, because we're starting to see people not be able to be anonymous anymore on the internet because of people like Kiwifarms, because they believe that pornography should be banned, anime should be banned, sexist games should be banned. You should use your real ID, which a lot of Kiwifarms support that stuff. You may be saying, maybe not on the forum, there's people debating it. Yeah, and they always get attacked by 5 other feminists on the thread itself. I have seen it. I've seen people just openly state, yeah, we should have real ID to stop, like, pornography, and men should be staying in their place. It's radical. I even seen, like, people praising the Scum Manifesto made by a literal feminist terrorist who almost assassinated a well-known artist, and they're openly praising the Scum Manifesto, saying it's a political satire book and it's funny, knowing that it was made by a terrorist. It's the equivalent of somebody saying a male MRA or a MGTOW praising the My Twisted World manifesto by Elliot Rodger. Same thing. And people wonder why isn't like feminist groups considered like a terrorist group, like like incels, because they're scared of them. They, people talk about, like, Jewish people and all that, and it's like, no, we look at South Korea, and it's run by a death cult. Japan, it's not directly run by a death cult, but it's run by feminists as well. It kind of throws out the JQ all the way, and you realize, well, maybe this is why Kiwifarms is staying up, because of people like Josh, and he knows he has a shield of feminist terrorist groups that basically swat people all the time. It's insane, because you would think all of this would end with Jim just saying, fuck it, I'm going to make fun of Null. I'm going to make fun of the Kiwifarms. Because, this, Josh and the Kiwifarms have openly stated they want to go after VTubers. Now, I don't like VTubers. I don't like them. I think they're parasitic. They're basically e-girls. Well, half of them are e-girls, some of them are just men pretending to be women. They take advantage of men. Now, I think that they should not be banned, but I don't think men should be desperate enough to talk to a VTuber. Now, I can understand if you want to talk to them, have some shit posting, but don't give them money. Don't do this. They get enough views to where they're safe on the internet, because when they're women and they pretend to be women, so i.e. transgender or whatever, so they can just get a shit ton of views and they can make money from AdSense, or from, like, Twitch AdSense or TikTok AdSense or whatever. To where don't give them money. I've actually like watched VTubers that are kind of entertaining, but I would not simp for them. I find that kind of repulsive, and half of them are just dudes with voice modulators. And Josh openly went after Curse, trying to call her a child predator, which I find that to be very disgusting, because I think that's atrocious for you to say. Because let's face it, unless you have proof that she is a child predator, you should shut your mouth. That's how I see it. Josh in his site called anyone that's not a radical feminist predators. The insanity. And you have like I think I brought up Saba, one of the big YouTubers who got doxxed, and people guarantee eventually she's just gonna get swatted. And that's a fact. She already had Peter sent to her home. I guarantee next one's gonna be Kirsch. She would be doxxed as well, because they're trying so hard to dox every single VTuber. And you would think Metokur would just say, fuck this, I'm not gonna have some fucking fat autistic dude who can't even get a stiffy to pretend that he's going to decide what it's going to be on the internet. And you would think that someone like Jim would just say, fuck this, I'm not gonna let this happen. But even when quote unquote he was still alive, or if he's dead or whatever, he'll get fed up with it. But no, he's talking about, oh, Trump is so great, I want to suck Trump's cock, I want Trump's semen to go down my gullet, stuff like that. And it's very basic stuff. Even with the Loghouse stuff, he just talks about King Cobra, he talked about the weird ABDL guy, which, people talked about that years before, but all of a sudden stuff being talked about now. It's very safe for work kind of stuff. But Jim used to be notorious for going after people that would actually deserve to be gone after, and also something that's controversial to go after. That's what I liked about old YouTube, and YouTubers of Metokur back in the day, back in the golden age of Metokur. He would go after anybody that he knew was doing fucked up shit. People have went after Josh, and people like Metokur who knew they were innocent let them get attacked, or other people who tried to go after Metokur, and people point out to Metokur and he just tries to ignore it. He did the same thing with JF, even though JF is I don't care to say, he killed his wife. He killed his mentally disabled wife. I killed the potato and ate her. I have a Bitcoin mine. Stuff like that. And the internet is going to change rapidly once we confirm Metokur is dead, because that's going to be a shock wave. And Josh, I guarantee he's going to be very lot on the on Metokur's death. He's going to be very nonchalant. Oh, he died. And to where he may make some sly comments to Metokur, because that's what Josh does. He tries to pretend to be a woman. And people have found out that he wanted to be a girl. He wanted to be transgender, which is kind of hilarious since he hates transgenders. So it's kind of funny. I guarantee he's going to bring up Metokur's fumbles and all that, even though people brought up Noah's fumbles, and it's far worse than Jim's. But the state of Metokur and Josh is kind of crazy, because you get to see it. You get to see it just like mutually assured destruction, or mutually autistic destruction. They both know if they attack each other, they will cause the biggest flame war on the internet. And Jim's fanbase, they may not be like as bad as, when it comes to Kiwifarms users, but he has that size of his audience and dedicated users of the audience who would go after Kiwifarms users if they piss him off enough. Because remember, they're also connected to the VTuber scene. And the VTuber scene with the fanbase are starting to go after Kiwifarms, and no, because they realize, oh, they're trying to destroy our VTubers and trying to swat them and dox them. So maybe post-death Metokur, afterwards, when all of them, go away, stop being fans of Metokur, may go to their VTubers, their OCs, whatever, and they'll be trying to criticize not Metokur, but Kiwifarms and Josh, and maybe, just maybe, each VTuber would try to do a personal attack against Josh or the Kiwifarms itself. Because originally, you could say, well, Kiwifarms is going after animal abusers and the PDF files. Well, now he's going after just random people who just have mental disabilities, and they may not even be predators or doing anything at all, and going after VTubers, which you could say, well, I don't like the parasocial relationship between a VTuber and a person. They're not doing anything fundamentally wrong. To where it just gets to the point when will every single person who believes in free speech, right to be anonymous, and who hates the new system of their UK Real ID and the new Real ID that's going on in the US as well, they need to go after Kiwifarms, because if you go after them, if you try to make, like, especially with the United States, because that's where Josh's servers is hosted, to make it where all states agree that doxing should be treated as like swatting, to where it can be considered a criminal crime, to where Kiwifarms can't run, or make it where Jaws has to fold and had to say, yeah, we can't allow doxing anymore. Unless it's like, because people don't understand, like, when T-App, that T-App where women were trying to dox and cancel men was going on, it was 4chan that was doing the doxing. And you say, well, isn't there a thing that's against doxing in Kiwifarms and Shardy? Well, there's exceptions to doxing you can do. If it's to other doxers and actual criminals. That's where 4chan and the Shardy, they're perfectly fine for you to do. Now, the Shardy is more lax on doxing, and this is more lighthearted stuff. So like the old 4chan where you would do raids on like Twitch streamers and just say the N-word. Just funny shit. But if it went too far, then they would lock the thread, and well, not lock the thread, but just lock the post and just ban the people who did it. But yeah, but say if Metokur's still alive and they actually go after, his fans go after Kiwifarms, because it will eventually overlap with the VTuber space and Metokur's fans, to where it will be mutually autistic destruction.